Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. Just realized that was like that. Okay. Alright. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Animal Wisdom Tarot by Dawn Brunk, illustrated by Ola Leola. It's by CICO Books over here. And there's their website, cicobooks.com. If you want to find that stuff. I need to go see these websites because I'm curious what's on them. Supportive Oracle Cards, The Halloween Oracle by Stephanie DeMarco. And there's a website on this one too. BlueAngelOnline.com, I think. It's down over here. There we go. Let's see if I remember at some point to look at these websites, because I have not been on these websites. But if you want that information, you now have that information. Virgo. Okay, let's get the rest of the cards out here before we get too excited. But I mean, typically it's not like a smooth sailing, easy situation the whole way. But I mean, I don't know. Would you trust that if it was not for nothing? A lot of us, I feel like we wouldn't. Like, wait, this is too good to be true. You got the crab starting off. The crab, the raccoon. You got the Four of Shells, which is the Four of Cups. The Seer of Fossils. I think the Seer is supposed to be page energy. It just falls right out of my head every time I think of it, but it's a raccoon. Raccoon is a very interesting energy because I feel like it can be a very seductive energy if it wants to be. But the thing is, it's also, like, these energies to me feel like you can be very alluring, but it can be very subtle too. Kind of like, I am getting like an alluring energy, but more like, you know, subtle enough to where at your convenience you can deny anything. Kind of like, what do you mean? What do you mean I was sending you signals? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I feel like it's very, like, it's there, but if you don't really, if you decide you change your mind, you're like, I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't there. I wasn't doing that. It feels very subtle. You're making very subtle motions forward, even with the Four of Shells, but it's kind of like, I'm interested, but I don't know how interested I am. Whatever this is, it feels seductive but playful. Slow, kind of like, maybe I'm interested, maybe I'm not. I don't know. This doesn't have to be romantic, but it does kind of have that feel to it, doesn't it? This also, especially with Virgo, this could be business, but not in a, like, I don't know, like, kind of like, I'm interested, but I'm not. I'm going to try to see if I like this, but I'm going to pull back. That crab energy works really well for you. It's like, I'm coming close enough to see what it's about, but I'm not committing to anything. Maybe I do want it. I'll think about it. You're searching something out. You're searching something out. I feel like you're helping with it very little. It's almost like, you know, whatever's going on, like, you're not organizing things, but if somebody says, could you take this over to so-and-so? You're like, yeah, I can do that. Takes a few moments, not a big deal. You'll do that. And while you're doing that, you might, like, garner a little bit more information about what this situation's about. I feel like that's what you're doing with this. Kind of like, I want to know more. I want to know more. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. The Two of Branches going on in the environment with the salamander, I'm getting, like, there seems to be a lot going on. This going that way, that's going this way, this is going that way, that's going around in circles. And I just feel like you're just kind of like, is this bedlam? Is this just crazy? Or does this kind of make sense? Maybe. There's a lot going on. There seems to be, you're questioning if things are contradictory or if they're going the way they should. And you're just getting a little bit more intel. You're doing what you need to do. It's fine. Nothing's bad at this point. I don't even know if this is really going to go bad, to tell you the truth. It might go quite well. The next two cards on your side are the Cauldron and Trick or Treat. by doing it this way and just kind of listening here or there and asking questions here or there, there's only so much you're going to be able to know. And it seems like it's a good situation, but it does seem like there's a lot of like questionable activity. I don't know if this is necessary. I don't know if this makes sense. Seems like it does, but it's hard to tell the way it's going. But at this point, it's like if I want to know more, I'm going to have to get involved with it a little bit. I don't have to be in the main section, but I have to like start getting involved with the outside circumstances. It's kind of like if you think of this situation as like it's a house, and then there's the porch, and then there's the lawn, and then there's the driving by on the road. You've been driving by back and forth on the road. And you're kind of like, well, I can't really see the porch that well from here. But if I want to know more about what's going on here, I at least have to start working on the lawn. I have to get on the lawn and try to get involved and maybe help out with what's going on the lawn. I feel like that makes more sense. Kind of like I've been driving back and forth. Maybe I've been dropping off some supplies here and there once in a while, just randomly, when I was going that way anyway. But now I'm kind of curious, so I want to get involved here. So I'm going to help with stuff on the lawn. I'm going to get involved there. Like you're not totally in it. You're not inside the house. You're not even on the porch yet. But you're kind of like standing around on the lawn, doing things, helping out, weeding things, pruning things, maybe helping with outside things. Mostly because you just don't want to fully commit. You kind of I want to still be able to walk away if I decide, you know what, this isn't really for me. I want to be in that. But I want to be close enough to learn a little bit more. And the trick or treat is like I'm still not sure if I want to be a part of this. Is it a trick or is it a treat? Which is it? Like literally. I don't know. But the cauldron is like I have to get more deeper into this. You don't really know if you really want to though. You're still not sure. And the 5 of Cups here, which is the jellyfish, I feel like you get a little bit deeper involved than you want to be. A little bit more than you want to be, but at the same time, it does seem to be helping. You got the Lady de los Muertos and the forgiveness here. Now, how is the forgiveness coming in? I think we're going to do the lady with the jellyfish first. Kind of like you're deciding what you're going to be a part of and what you're not going to be a part of. Okay. So you're trying to come in like, I'm going to be a part of this, but I don't want to be a part of that. I'll do some of this, but not that. But you kind of get sucked into a couple things that you really weren't planning to be a part of. You're still outside on the lawn, but it's kind of like you're mowing the lawn and you're helping plant the garden and you're tending after a couple things that need a little bit more extra care. They're pointing out, well, yeah, I understand you want to put the garden over here, but it's very rocky. You're going to have to take a lot of that out, and you're going to have to put some good dirt in here. You're going to have to aerate the soil below it, so you're going to really want to take care of this. You're going to get a little bit better irrigation, because I've noticed that you have water that pools here, and certain things are going to really rot and not work here. I'm also noticing the sun isn't the best here. I feel like you might get involved to the point where you're talking to somebody like, oh, okay, I know you want this here, but all this has to be done, and you're still going to have some issues because of this, that, and the other thing. I would recommend you put it over here and do it this way. And this is kind of how we were getting a little bit more involved than you wanted to. Kind of like what they were planning, you're like, well, I've done this before, and these are the problems you're going to run into. And that water pooling there, that seems like that's too wet. That's going to cause big issues, and you might not get even a quarter of what you're looking for if you do it there. And you're like, I would do it over here, and this is why. And you're helping. You're helping a lot more than you expected to. That's what I'm getting with the jellyfish and the Lady de los Muertos. Forgiveness is like, all right, like it's kind of like this white flower especially. It's kind of like it's a peace feel. I know the peace rose is like yellow and pink, but still, I'm getting that with the white too, the peace feel. The kind of like I'm helping this out. I'm helping get involved. I'm also getting deeper involved than I want to. But the forgiveness is kind of like, I do feel like I could still step out if I want to. But I also realize if I step out, my presence is going to be noted. Like if I step out, I feel like it's going to be noted. It's going to be noticeable. Like that I helped get this started and then I kind of went away. So it still feels like I don't know, I'm starting to get like more tied to this situation than I really wanted to. because that forgiveness feels like I technically could still step out, but that forgiveness feels more binding to me. I'm telling myself I could still walk away. But could I? Technically, yes. But will I? The Death card, and is that the Two of Swords? Yes. You're at this point where things are starting to go farther ahead. You've put in your 2 cents. You've helped move things forward. Again, the forgiveness is here, but you're at that precipice where it's like, I either have to be a part of this or I gotta stop. Because you know full well you've gone this far, you got a lot farther in than you expected. If you keep going, you're going to get sucked in even deeper. So it's kind of like you don't get involved with things just to give up. That's not Earth. That's not Virgo. Like, you're not going into this just, well, let's see how it turns out. You're getting to the point where you're kind of like, you're investing your time. And you're like, I don't invest my time just to throw it away. So it's kind of at that moment, you haven't invested a crazy amount of time. So the forgiveness again is here. If you want to step out, you can step out, but you got to make your decision at this point. The Death card with the Two of Swords is like, you can no longer play this. You can't play this game anymore with the Two of Swords. You got to be either in or out. The block is here, kind of like saying you're at the doorway. You either get in, you're either going to go, it's like you're going in the house or you're not. Like, you're going to skip the porch and you're just going to commit and go into the house. It's like that. Like, you're not, I don't know how to explain this. Like, it's like you're making your mind up, like, I will end up in the house at some point. Not like you're going from the front yard right into the house. You're realizing if I don't walk away now, sooner or later, I will end up in that house. I will get on the porch. I will end up in the house at some point. I was saying, because you're skipping a step, that doesn't make sense. No, it's just saying you're making up your mind. Like, okay, if I keep going, I will end up in the house sooner or later. I'll go to the porch and do stuff there, but I will end up in the house at some point. So you're doing it. Really? Yep. Yeah, because once you start putting in effort, like you don't throw that away. It's kind of like you don't just do things just because, like, like, busy work is not really a Virgo thing, in my opinion. They do work with purpose. They're not just going to sit there and write 50 times on the board your full name. Why? Why do that? Just to do something? That's not really Virgo. Virgo's kind of like, maybe I'll write it different ways and find some different beautiful ways to write it. Maybe I'll experiment with different types of writing, different colors, different symbols I could put in with it. Like, but that would be Virgo. You'd be working on it. You wouldn't, or if you wanted to perfect your handwriting, if you felt like that would perfect your handwriting and you needed to do that for a reason, then you would do that, but you would have a purpose behind it. Not just to write your name just for the fun of it for 50 times. You wouldn't do that. If you did it for 50 times, you'd have a goal, a reason, something from the beginning to the end that you would achieve. By the time you did it 50 times, it would be improved in some respect. And that's why I'm getting with this here too. You're not going to just throw away your energy. Is it the flowers? Yeah, Skull of Flowers and the Vampire. Now the Vampire, I'm noticing today at least, it's feeling very seductive. Very, like, come hither. Wherever you want to go with that. Skull of Flowers. You're accepting the situation. You're kind of like, I've already committed to this, and I kind of already did. It's almost like you're looking back, like when you were driving back and forth, the third time after you drove by, wondering what this situation was about, you were already starting to fall into it. And I feel like you're just accepting it. The Skull of Flowers is kind of like, you know what, I'm in it. I'm in it now, I'll just do it. But now you're kind of like, now that I'm into it, what do I expect to get out of it? This is very good, very healthy in my opinion. You're putting in a lot of effort here. You're willing to put in what's necessary. You're helping out. A healthy balance is like you put in and you get out. Whatever, you put something in to get something out. It doesn't have to be like, $5 for $5. I'm not looking at it that way, but kind of like I'm putting in my effort and helping this work out, and what I'm getting out of it is maybe I'm helping maybe I'm getting closer to somebody I want to know better. Maybe I'm helping something come to fruition that I want to happen as well. Maybe I'm learning a trade. Maybe I'm learning how something else works. Maybe I'm getting my chance to have parties in this house too with everybody else. I don't know. There's something you're getting out of it though. It's a very healthy thing because the vampire is telling me, okay, what can I get out of this? Now that I'm committing to it, how does this pay me back? I'm willing to give in the effort, but I'm also willing, I should be getting something back. Very healthy, very positive. Sometimes I say that to people, and it's almost like they feel like they should give their energy away freely and get nothing back. That's it. Nowhere in life does that work out well. Even like in like the most giving of people, when they're giving into a situation, if they're not getting some type of satisfaction at some level or something in return where they feel like they're making the world a better place, and I can understand that some people give in that way, but if they don't feel like they're making the world in a better place and seeing that outcome, that could be their payback, I give you that. But if they're not seeing that, the situation will drown and it won't work. It'll ground itself out. You are looking for the payback, I mean, the pay in return, and you are going to cause this infinity type symbol where it will keep going, it'll keep working, it'll keep growing. This is very wise on your part and very stable. I'm getting the tree. It's actually ancestors, but I'm feeling that tree energy with the owl coming in, kind of like, I have to be honest with myself and what I want from this situation. And by doing that and finding what I really need from this and what I really like from this, I grow roots here and I stabilize this situation. This is how you help stabilize it. Some people come into this roadblock every now and then. Like, it's almost like, they shouldn't be allowed to have a piece of the pie or to have a want or to have a need or to have something met. You stabilize this situation by finding what it is that anchors you here, what it is that you're getting out of it. I have no question you're putting in what you need to. You're putting in your share. You're putting in your effort. You're putting in what needs to be given. You're giving of yourself. To create the balance, to stabilize it, you also have to get something out. It's a give and take feel. If you don't achieve that, this will fail. I'm also getting. When you do find that balance, because you need to find something that really anchors you to the situation, people know it when you found it. What you really like out of it, what you really want out of it. And I'm getting the star card here, like people realize once you have what you want, and the thing is with Virgo, Earth especially, Earth doesn't usually do a one goal thing. That's not usually Earth. It's not just like one and done. It's usually like a repetitive, growing, sustainable situation. Once they find out what you want and that you can sustain it, you keep giving in and you keep getting out. You keep giving in and you keep getting out. When they feel that they've seen this from you, they're going to know that you're very devoted to the situation and they're going to come to count on you. They're going to also realize if they expect to continue to count on you, they have to make sure they keep making sure that you keep getting what you want out of the situation. This seems to really boost confidence with whoever you're working with. Like somebody seems to realize as long as I keep giving the Virgo what they want, they'll keep putting in what I need. I just keep giving them what they want, they keep putting in what I need. I keep giving them what they want, they keep giving me what I need. There's a very strong circle effect here. This is what stabilizes this. This is really good. So if there's somebody out there who's feeling guilty about wanting something from the situation, I don't feel guilty about it. That is stabilizing the situation. It will give it longevity. I'm also getting here the Nurturer of Feathers, which is the Queen of Swords. Ibis. I don't know what an ibis is. I've never seen an ibis before, but let's see if I remember at some point and look it up online. And the Salmon, the Knight of Shells. Very smart. Very on point. You're going to plan this out. You're going to be very happy. You got to commit to finding what you really want out of this situation. If this situation can't provide for you in some way, this is not going to make it. But I'm feeling like once you find it, you're very anchored here. This situation has not fully formed yet, too. I've noticed that. And I'm also getting like that might be one of the reasons why you were hesitant to get involved. Because the end card here is the Moon card, and there's a really cute rabbit on there. But what I'm getting is like, we don't know where this is going totally. We don't know what the end result is going to be. We don't know what's going to happen or how this is going to evolve going forward. But this situation will definitely evolve. The thing is, once you have decided and you have identified and shared what you want, people are going to make sure that keeps happening. Whatever it is, if it's whatever the value is you're finding here, people are going to realize that that's what keeps you coming back. It keeps you participating, keeps you helping. they're going to make sure it keeps happening. Another reason this stabilizes the situation, because when you show what you want, people want to keep giving it to you. That piece will become more of an anchor of the whole situation. You will end up anchoring. That's why it will become an anchor, because people are like, the Virgo wants this. Keep this happening. Keep this going. So the Virgo keeps getting this, and the Virgo keeps helping. It's gonna be like an anchor to the whole situation. You're helping create an anchor to the situation. And that anchor things will grow from the anchor. It almost like reminds me of like a cluster of roots. And it's kind of like the tree, it's almost like, not a forsythia, although, because I don't know much about forsythias. Not that I know a lot about sumacs either, but I'm thinking like if you have a cluster of sumac roots, it might get cut down and cut back and cut right down to the ground, but it keeps popping up all over the place, you know what I mean? And you're like creating that root ball. Things keep popping up, things keep happening, and this will actually flourish because you're helping stabilize that anchor, that root ball, and things keep coming from it. I think this is really good. The energy's kind of like dropping there, so whatever I needed to say, I think it's been said. 20 minutes later. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.